Every person has two types of age. The first one is physical age, the second one is emotional age. Hey guys, this is Gautam here, and in this channel we'll try to look and understand various different concepts around us using various different logics as philosophical logic, psychological logic, scientific logic, or every other logic that's possible, and try to understand things in a better way. And today's topic would be a famous quote that's heard by everybody at least once in their life, and that goes by, life begins at 40. And the thing that we're going to see into it is how and why. To answer the how, see, when you're 18 or 21 years old, your boundaries are limited. You try to think and analyze about yourself and your family and your close friends and certain interests that actually, excites you. It could be a video game, a sport, or it could be social media or whatever. But as you keep aging, your perspective or your perception broadens away, and you try to think in a much more broader concept and much more futuristic concept, and that's when the question of life actually begins. So that is the one sole reason, I think, why life begins at 40 is, such a big deal and everybody accepts to it. Okay, let's look into the why part of it. And to answer the why part of it, we have three different logics. The first one would be self-analysis, or to understand themselves. Unfortunately, when you're born, you're not born with a user manual. There is no reference point to check and understand about yourself. The closest reference point that you can have is the life of your parents or the life of your grandparents. But again, the situations that you face, the decisions that you make, and the outcomes that comes out of those decisions are completely unique, and it's very personal, and it differs person to person in every single walk of your life. So you need to have certain number of years under your belt to understand about yourself, what you are good at, what are your thoughts about it, and what kind of a person are you to actually explore yourself and to make decisions and to go on with that. So you need to have that sort of a self-analysis, and it takes a number of years. The second logic would be to understand the system or the society around us. Again, see, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, all you think is black and white, or right or wrong, So anything that separates them is what is, in your thought. But as you keep aging, you'll start looking closer and closer, and the line that separates the right and the wrong actually diminishes. And there is a big gray area where everything is driven by perspective. The only thing that is certain is true or false. There is a thing that could be true, or either it could be true or it could be false. But right or wrong depends on which side of the game you are in, or what's your perspective. So you'll start slowly understanding that, and again, that takes time. And the third important logic is learning to understand what not to do. Sorry, I got it confused over there. So learning to understand what not to do, because every person has their own strength. And as you experiment with different stuffs when you're young, when you're in your 18, 20s, early 30s, you'll start, experimenting with various different types in your life. And the more you fall, the more you learn about yourself as what not to do. Because as I said in my previous video, education is something that never stops. You have to keep learning. So you'll keep learning, you'll keep stumbling around it, and you'll try to figure out things. But with enough years of experience of what not to do, you'll actually try to prepare yourself better for the battleground. So you have better sense, you're better equipped, you're better armed in order to take up the challenge and go by that. So these are the three logics that sort of explains why life begins at 40. But if somebody is watching this video and trying to question that, okay, this guy doesn't look 40, so why the hell is he even making this video? To answer that, that is why I opened this video with the quote that every person has two types of age. There is physical, and then there is emotional age. See, you would have heard many incidents where a 10-year-old kid is so mature that he or she takes care of his mom or dad, they're emotionally strong, they can take care of themselves and all that sort of stuff. And there is another incident where you hear, people who is 50 years old and so childlike, they cannot make their own decision, they could be very decisive and all that sort of stuff. So physical age doesn't equate your emotional age. It's not linear, and it's not something that develops in certain interval. Like 1 year of your physical age doesn't mean 1 year of your emotional age. In a year of a physical age, you can actually have a 10 years of emotional age growth, or vice versa. You can actually go minus 10 too. So everybody should develop an emotionally stable perspective and emotionally stable life, so you age emotionally as well. So that's it for this, guys. Hope everybody attains the 40 soon and start thinking about their life and have the best and do the best out of it. This is Gautam signing off. Magilchi.